What is going on, guys? Welcome back. A little bit of shoulders for you. Starting off with, I know, surprise, surprise, side lateral dumbbell raises. Starting off with this exercise, it's not the most exciting. You're not gonna, even if you grab the 70s and you pump them out, I mean, how accomplished are you really gonna feel? Even if you grab the hundreds, it's one of those things where it's the most important shoulder exercise. But yes, in years past, doing heavy pressing, I love doing that, and it's no good for your elbows or your wrists, but you do feel accomplished. I used to do 275 seated military press with the barbell, and I'd bust it out for 10. Of course, I was a lot younger. I'm not doing that anywhere near right now. And even back then, I was doing the 130-pound dumbbells seated in. You'd feel great. You'd throw them down, and then you would feel accomplished. With the side laterals, far more important than any of the pressing that you're going to do for development, for size. Strength, of course, you want to throw around heavy weight. You have to throw around heavy weight, and that's where the pressing comes into play. But with the side laterals, my favorite shoulder exercise, and I do not have to elaborate on this at all. If you guys do shoulders, I'm hoping that you do this movement because it is the best, and it's not just my opinion. There are plenty of other guys out there that definitely agree. So if you're not doing it, you need to start, and that's not a suggestion. That's a guarantee that you have to do it. It's almost a threat, and you can take it that way. Shoulder press. I am jumping over to machine, and I am facing the pad instead of facing out. I've done this before. I've showed you in the past. It's it's great. Yeah, you don't have to load up the weight. Even when I do rack it, it's not something that it's gonna get. It's something that's necessary, and it's something that I prefer to do just because it's easier to get the weight up. Smith machine, I love. I can keep the weight a little higher, so I can start off higher where my elbow isn't really affected, my brachialis, my wrist, all on my left hand. I don't have to worry about it as much, and you actually can see when I start off with this, you can see I lift with my left, I'm holding in place, and then I go with my right. To try and do both at once, I feel like the right goes up no problem. The left takes a little convincing. So a little bit more difficult, but I always start off with the left, and then I push up the right as much as I can. But another thing, I'd like to usually jump into the pressing right after the side laterals. Sometimes I'll even start with the pressing. Sometimes I'll end with the pressing just because I want to go a little bit lighter with the weight, but still get that pump that I'm looking for. So after press, I went over to rear raises. Well, not even raises, basically just rear pullbacks with a cable. I showed you last time me doing the bent over raises with the dumbbells, and I haven't done it in a while, and it's probably for a reason, just because I don't feel it works as well as maybe reverse pec deck or as well as the cable does. So not saying that I'm never going to do it again, but just something that I don't do too often. Just want to show you what that did look like. And something to keep in mind with the cable is you can incorporate your try a little bit too much with this movement. So just get that mind muscle connection down, and you shouldn't have a problem with it. The more advanced you are, the easier everything's going to be, including this movement. But just keep in mind that this is a shoulder movement, and you're trying to move your arm without your back moving. Of course, your back's going to move slightly, but you're trying to keep your shoulder blade from doing a full contraction in the middle of your back and incorporating too much strap, just because that's not what you're looking for. At least that's what most people aren't looking for. Most people, or actually, I shouldn't say most people, if you're doing a push-pull rotation, go for it. You're going to do rear delts. If you incorporate your back, it is what it is, but you want to target the specific muscle that you're trying to hit. So with the cables, it's a little bit easier to overlook that or to incorporate the trap. So just be mindful of that. And with the height of the pulley, you want it slightly lower than your shoulder, or at least maybe shoulder height, not above, because when you go above, now you're actually pulling down, and you're probably going to incorporate too much rhomboid and too much lat with that. But once again, have that mind muscle connection, you should be all set. After that, I went over to side laterals, and I did it with the cable. I haven't done it with a cable in quite some time. Years ago, I would do it behind the back, and it probably works just as well as in front. But with this, I wanted to do a slight slight pitch, like a slight lean forward, and that's a good way to get your side lateral to really hit it. Sometimes I've seen other guys, they're doing a little bit too much front. Not too often. I see him doing too much rear, but I guess that could be if you're if you're bending far enough over it, you're gonna incorporate anything that you want because it's all about the way your chest is level to either the ground or the ceiling or the wall in front of you or behind you. So just be mindful of that. Didn't feel a crazy pump with this one. I probably should have stopped at the second one and just went over back to the dumbbell rack and did a few more of those. But I wanted to give it a full try and just give it a shot. Not to say that I didn't get a pump because I did, but nothing really compares to that side lateral dumbbell raises. And I've done machines in the past, and I could do a little bit more weight with the machines just because you're stationary. You're just trying to move the weight up and down, and I just don't feel it as beneficial. And another thing with this is my gym, which is a powerhouse in Woonsocket. Great gym. Probably the best gym I've ever been to, or at least a member of. They have these attachments, this hand, it's actually like made for your left and made for your right, where it's not just a straight bar. So that's why you see me taking a little bit of time going, switching them out. Now I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm gonna do pressing, and I'm gonna let it play with the full volume just so you can hear what it sounds like when you have a bit of a nagging injury. You're actually gonna hear my left shoulder clicking. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking for a sec. So I don't want any sympathy with that. Just letting you know that you're not alone. If you're going through an injury and you're used to doing certain weight and just something's slowing you down, it's aggravating. Trust me, I know, and it's just something that you have to deal with. Just try and if it's a true injury where you have surgery and the doctor says to stay out for 8 weeks. I mean, well, you might go back after the fourth or the fifth week, but I made mistakes of having surgery on my foot, and I went and played basketball later that day, and probably wasn't the best move. So listen to your doctors, listen to your body, and if it's pain, that's the difference between pain and an injury. If you want to fight through it, go for it, and just know that you're not alone. So keep on pushing, and probably next time I'm going to get into a bit more of nutrition because I know a little bit about that, and that's the hardest part. Getting to the gym is the easy part.